Lloydminster City Council has approved new photo radar rules as Alberta recently put more restrictions on where cities can use photo radar. Lloydminster already had stricter photo radar rules than other places in Alberta. Under the new rules, radar will not be used on roads where drivers must change speeds quickly and can be used only in school zones while students are in class. The city will continue to use marked vehicles and post photo radar locations in advance.
I've had people approach me and say, thank you for not being in the transition zones and not hiding behind trees. The vehicles that are used are city vehicles. They will be clearly marked.
The new city policy also states that 50% of photo radar revenue should be put into a reserve that will be used to support community safety measures. Over the past 2 years, close to $200,000 was placed into reserves.
Promoting safety rather than the money collected. And the money that is collected, half of it goes back into continued safety operations in the city and improving crosswalks and things like that. So that money is available and is used on an annual basis to help promote safety.
Due to Saskatchewan legislation, photo enforcement only takes place on the Alberta side of Lloydminster. We are now only 5 days away from Christmas, and for those doing some last-minute shopping for their furry friends, the Lloydminster Pet Pad has a variety of gifts. Every year we buy presents for our family and friends, but we can't forget our four-legged friends. And if you are looking for a fun holiday present for a puppy this year, they have a few suggestions.
The knotted braids would be really good just because then if you have a puppy that is teething, you can freeze it, put it in water and freeze it, and then they can chew on it. This is a bully stick, really good for like teething, chewing, and stuff like that to keep your puppy busy. And then there is this little candy cane, and it is a beef esophagus, so it's cute, it's Christmassy, probably take a while to chew for your puppy.
They also have gifts for all types of pets, including cats, fish, birds, and more. The Pet Pad receives a lot of support from Border City residents, and throughout this holiday season, that is continued.
The last couple weeks have been really busy. The start of it was a little slow, but I think everyone's doing last minute Christmas shopping, but we're open this whole week except for Christmas Day. We're closed.
The Pet Pad also has scratching posts for cats and food and treats for all animals. There is also a few items they have that would be good for a stocking.
Like a little Christmas toy and stuff, like it's got squeakers in it. They can play tug-of-war with it, things like that. For little Christmas stocking stuffers, these are Zook's Mini Naturals. They're shaped like little Christmas trees, or you could do like a small Christmas cookie.
More information, including the Pet Pad's hours, is available on their Facebook page. If you think that getting Christmas gifts for your pets might be a little over the top, what about giving the gift of a pet instead? For more from Per Baby's Forever Home, here's Tate Laycraft.
Joining me right now on Primetime Local News is Cassidy Urachuk from Per Baby's Forever Homes. Welcome to the show, Cassidy.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
So today we're here to talk about Per Baby's situation as we head into the holidays. But first things first, what can you tell us about this little guy right here?
So this is Max I have here with me. He's a male. He's about 4 months old. He's very playful and loving. He's super chatty too. He gets along with other cats. He likes to play with other cats, and he's only got 3 legs. So he's a tripod kitty, I guess you could call him. But he actually does really well on 3 legs. He gets around pretty good. And he can be shy and timid around new people, but once he warms up to you, he is the sweetest. So he's pretty sweet. He's waiting for his forever home.
He looks very sweet. But in regard to his leg, do you know exactly what happened to him?
We're not exactly sure. It could have been he was hit by a car or something, but his leg was broken in 2 different places, so it just decided that it was best to amputate it. But we're not exactly sure how it happened. But thank goodness he was rescued. He's no longer in pain.
And just changing gears, talking about Per Babies and the success that you've had in December, what are adoption numbers looking like this month?
So we've got about 50 cats and kittens in care right now, all in foster care because Purr Babies doesn't have a shelter or a building. Every cat we rescue goes straight into a foster home, so that's why fosters are so important and needed for us. But we've had about the same amount of adoptions this month so far. Haven't seen a huge increase with the holidays coming up, but we're hoping to get a couple more adoptions in the next couple weeks. But we have about the same every month, usually around like 5 to 10 adoptions each month. But hopefully we'll get more as time goes on, and then we can rescue more.
And talking about our viewers then, obviously not everyone is ready to adopt a cat, but for people who might want to help out in a different way, what kind of options do you have for them?
So one of the ways is definitely fostering. If you're not ready to adopt a cat or kitten, and you just want to have one around temporarily, fostering is definitely super helpful. Like I said, because we don't have a building or a shelter to house the cats, we rely completely on fosters to welcome them into their homes. So definitely fostering is a way to help. It's free. We supply everything, like all the supplies for you. And you really just need to provide water and love, and you could, it is a little bit easier if you have a spare room for the cats, just so they can get comfortable, get used to the new surroundings and the new scents in the house and stuff. But if you don't, that's okay. It's just something we recommend. But yeah, and then another way, if you can't foster, is you could donate supplies. We do have like a wish list with like litter and food and litter boxes and all kinds of cat supplies. So if you would like to help in that way, we definitely appreciate donations because we're 100% donation run. We rely on that. So that would be another way to help.
Thanks so much, Cassidy.
It's time now for a blast from the past. Here's Blake Nath.
This week, in retrospect, we travel back in time to 1991 to get some tips from the RCMP on keeping your presents protected.
'Tis the season to be jolly, but it's also the season to be wary. At this time of year, a lot of money is being spent on goods that just sit around until Christmas, and that's a tempting target for thieves.
There's nothing more sad than to go to a person's residence just prior to Christmas because they've had a break-in and all their presents have been taken. It's really tough to see the expression on the kid's face, knowing that their Christmas has been affected to that degree. So, you know, if you can keep any real expensive presents, purchase them at the last minute.
Some tips if you're heading away for the holidays: make sure your doors are securely locked and tell your neighbors so they can keep an eye on things in case anybody is lurking around. With the season comes an increase in shoplifting offenses. Just last night at this store, police were called out after somebody tried to walk off with some goods, and police confirmed that this is not an isolated incident.
And in 96, a world-renowned celebrity takes time to stop by the border city.
Many Lloydminster and area children and adults alike climbed on Santa's lap today for one of the last chances to get a photo taken with the top elf. He says he's been busy preparing all year, but now the final Christmas countdown is on.
Get the reindeer groomed up, ready to go. Check all the lists again that little kids have sent in to make sure I get everything right.
He says he's still getting piles of letters from children telling him what they would like to see under their tree at home.
Susie Stretch, a yak back, I think that's a little recorder, and of course Barbies.
Cool tools, dolls, and of course Tickle Me Elmo also topped the requests. We asked Santa if Lloydminster kids have been naughty or nice this Christmas season.
There's no naughty kids. All the kids are good. Just sometimes they have their bad moments.
Tuesday night will be a busy one for Mr. Claus, and the only problem he anticipates on his late-night journey will be the weather. But he says still nothing will stop the sleigh's trip through the sky.
Just with this bitterly cold weather we're having in this area. Just polish up Rudolph's nose and he'll lead us on the way. Shouldn't be any problem.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
Now Shelby Clark will take a first look at this week's weather. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast. I hope everybody's having a great start to their week so far. Holidays are just right around the corner, so hopefully everybody is sticking through. Now here in the border city, we are sitting at -15. We saw a lot warmer day today compared to what we've been seeing last week, so hopefully everybody appreciated that nice warmer weather outside. We're seeing a mix of some sun and cloud right now, and throughout the day we did see a little bit more sun, which helped warm up the day. Now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan, most are seeing that -15 degree point here, while Lac La Biche is at -13. Cold Lake is at -14 degrees, while Vegreville is the coolest at -20, -16 in Vermilion and Provost, while Wainwright is hitting -17 degrees. Switching over to this side here on the Saskatchewan side, they're seeing a lot are seeing at that -15 point as well. -13 in Green Lake as well as in Pierceland. Meadow Lake is at -12, while St. Walburg is at -16 degrees. Down in Macklin, they're a bit cooler at -17, and North Battleford is at -14. And for North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to a low of -20, so they will be cooling down quite a bit. They'll be seeing a couple clouds in sight throughout the night, and tomorrow they will be seeing a slightly warmer day at -11 with a little bit more cloud coverage. Switching over to Cold Lake overnight, they'll be going down to a low of -20 as well, so they'll be cooling down a bit. They'll be seeing a lot more cloudier skies, and that cloudier sky will continue throughout their day tomorrow. Well, they will warm up though to -9 degrees. And switching over here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of -17, so we will be seeing a warmer night tonight. I would still maybe mention like plugging in your cars just to be on the safe side, but for most probably won't need to. We'll be seeing a couple clouds in sight, and tomorrow we will be seeing a nicer day there with a -6 for tomorrow, but we will be seeing a high chance of some snowfall. Now switching over to our 3-day forecast for here in the border city. As I was saying, we will be seeing a high chance, around 50% chance of some flurries tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be seeing even a higher chance as well of that continue at -8, so we will still be seeing some warmer temperatures. And Thursday we'll be seeing that high chance of some flurries continue on, but we will cool down to -14 on Thursday. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break. Welcome back. April showers bring May flowers, but Western Canadian farmers are hoping that December snow will bring replenishment to their dugouts and fields. For more, here's our ag reporter, Jillian Code.
Today, I'm joined by Matt Struthers, who is a crop extension specialist with the Ministry of Agriculture within the government of Saskatchewan. Now, I know it's only December, but looking forward towards next spring, how much moisture are farmers going to need?
So we need as much snow as we can get. For the biggest reason is to refill dugouts and any other surface water or any surface water body that livestock are going to utilize next year. We struggled all season long with supplying water to livestock, and going into 2022, we really need a replenishment of our water sources in that capacity, or livestock producers will be in even a harder bind. So, for the crop side of things, I was hoping for a good rain in the fall before the ground froze. Even though it's so dry out there, it probably likely won't freeze. So, if we got that moisture in the fall, it would have, let the ground freeze. The moisture is trapped there. We get a good dump of snow. We don't get any wind, and then come springtime, we have the runoff and we're all just ready for the springtime. But I don't have the exact amount off the top of my head what we need. I would say we take as much as we can get it in a lengthy period of time. We don't want it all in one day, kind of like what we saw in BC, right? That was a lot of water and in 2 or 3 days, and it was way too much. So we don't want that here. We want over that a good period of time, and then we should be good. And I'll take as much as we can get, but of course we don't want to have a flood season either. So
Yeah, and just our luck, that'll be exactly what happens. Now, I'm wondering, ski hills, they cover up snow to help maintain it for when the spring comes. Is that something that farmers could do, or are there any type of mitigation practices that farmers could take?
Other than your field management, if you're tilling, of course you're going to be, the more you disturb your soil during the spring, summer, and fall, the more moisture you're just going to dissipate into the atmosphere. Stubble management, residue management, all those things. But of course, that's not a winter activity. Yeah, it would be kind of interesting to see if anyone tarped their fields to see. But just like logistically, that's impossible, and the cost would be crazy. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day the technology will come along that we can make ice machines or snow machines for every field. But unfortunately, that's not possible. I mean, they could, snow fencing is an option for some people if that's an expense that they can afford. In some capacity, of course, you're not going to fence every field that you need it at. But of course, some people use just snow fencing here and there and do the best they can. But unfortunately, you kind of throw your hands up and hope for the best.
And just as you were speaking there, I was thinking, what if they packed dirt over the snow? Might that help?
Yeah, maybe if you were able to, if there's a snowpack and then you went over with maybe if you had crop residue or something like that, maybe some soil that you're able to agitate and get out of there and then break up and spread. That's a possibility. It might be able to hold some of it down, but at the same time, if you're spreading soil that's been broken up and loosened, come any large spring or any wind, sorry, in the spring, that topsoil will be carried off just like it would be if you're tilling it. So, there's always, unfortunately, there's pros and cons to the whole thing, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Moisture, the one thing we can't control, but we need the most.
I keep trying to find an angle that might help farmers retain some moisture, but ironically, I keep coming up dry.
It would be really nice. I mean, the one thing that I would really like to see actually is like shelter belts play a huge role, right, in moisture retention and conserving your moisture, not only during the growing season, but also in the wintertime. I would love to see the stoppage of tearing down and burning shelter belts, and maybe see a resurgence of planting shelter belts instead of taking them down, or maybe redesigning how we go about that so we can protect our soils but also conserve our moisture.
Perfect. There we go. I've got at least one tip that might help farmers retain some moisture. Unfortunately, not this year, but maybe in future years. Matt, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
You too, and a Merry Christmas.
And now here's a look at your agriculture prices for today. Well, it was a busy weekend in the sports world, but not for reasons fans will like. Jace Mackey and Evan Kenny have more on the recent hockey announcements.
COVID-19 has been causing a lot of issues for different professional sports league, and hockey has been no exception. Over the weekend, there's been a lot of different hockey-related news circling, and so Evan Kenny's here to talk about this. Be it professional or international, there's a lot of developments when it comes to hockey. So Evan, it's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Jace. Thanks for having me.
So let's just start out pretty broadly. Can you kind of tell us what's the current situation right now?
Yeah, Jace, just starting off with relevancy, what's happening here and now, the World Junior Championships, obviously something that everybody loves to watch around Christmas time, and this year taking place in Edmonton and in Red Deer. Unfortunately, Sunday was supposed to start the pre-tournament games Sunday on the 19th. However, those are being postponed until the 23rd, and potentially even having pre-tournament games on Christmas Eve, just due to the amount of different COVID-related concerns as of late. The decision was made by the IIHF, Hockey Canada, the host committee, as well as the Alberta Health Services. Now, Scott Smith, the president of Hockey Canada, he says it was a difficult decision. However, Hockey Canada and the IIHF's main goal is to be able to give out medals on January 5th, and they will do take every precaution necessary in order to do that. So that's where that's at right now. As of now, tickets have stopped being sold for the pre-tournament games, but the plan is to still have the tournament as normal.
All right, so now let's switch gears a little bit and move to the Olympics. I know I, for one, was someone who was looking forward to possibly seeing NHL players playing hockey in the Olympics in Beijing. Can you kind of give us the latest of what's going on with the Olympics when it comes to the NHL's involvement in Beijing?
Yeah, Jace, unfortunately, things are not looking good if you are hoping for NHL players to attend to the Olympics. Multiple reports have said it's about as good as done. It's more a matter of the NHL actually coming forward and saying, yes, we are unfortunately not attending. It's a tough choice for the NHL to make. Obviously, you know, all players, all people want to represent their country, specifically at the Olympics. However, I believe it is the right choice. If players test positive, then they could be quarantining in China, in Beijing, for up to 4 weeks after the Olympics is done. And for these NHL owners, NHL presidents, GMs, whoever it may be, they want to protect those assets and have them playing in NHL games, you know, where they are paid to play what is their career rather than missing those games potentially.
So as we stick on the topic of hockey, there's already been a number of different hockey-related events here in North America and abroad that have been shut down.
Yeah, Jace, you know, whether that be in the NHL or, like you mentioned, different events abroad, you know, this past Sunday, it was a very, very busy day when it comes to hockey and decision making. One of those decisions that unfortunately was made, Team Canada decided to opt out of the Spangler Cup, which is the longest running invitational tournament in the world. From December 26th to the 31st this year, the Spangler Cup was to be hosted in Davos, Switzerland. Team Canada announced on Sunday they will not be there. Team Canada was also the reigning champion from the last time the tournament was held, which was back in 2019. And Jace, as well, you know, you mentioned it, NHL games, obviously, a number of them are being postponed. A number of teams have already been delayed throughout the Christmas break. And then now just recently, NHL games involving a Canadian team and a U.S.-based team are being postponed until after the holiday break. So as of this past Saturday, Jace, 27 games had already been postponed in the NHL. And in the next 3 days, 12 more games are expected to join that just because of, like I mentioned, the U.S. teams and the Canadian teams playing thus far. A little bit of good news coming from this, at least, is the NHL and the NHL Players Association have said that the league will continue with the rest of the 2021-22 regular season.
Lots of uncertainty right now and a lot of stuff still up in the air, but it was good to kind of figure out where we're at right now, and we'll be continuing to track these stories as things are always changing. Evan, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today.
Thank you, Jace.
Now Shelby Clark will take another look at this evening's forecast. Thanks so much, Jazz. And now taking another look at your weather forecast. We're looking at the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, most are still sitting at that minus 15 degree point. Minus 14 in Rocky Mountain House, while Whitecourt is at minus 16 as well as in Athabasca, and Red Deer is the coolest at minus 20 degrees. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing some kind of the same temperatures as we are seeing on the Alberta side. Cold Lake is at minus 14, while most are sitting at minus 15 as well. Minus 14 as well in North Battleford, while Saskatoon is sitting at minus 13 and Meadow Lake is at minus 12. Now switching over to our northern region of the provinces, as you can see, they are seeing a lot cooler temperatures. La Loche and Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge are seeing slightly the same at minus 15, minus 16 degrees. Flin Flon is at minus 22 degrees, while it is minus 20 in South End, and Wollaston Lake is at minus 26, while up in Uranus City and Stony Rapids, they are the coolest at minus 30, minus 31 degrees. Now switching over to this side here, they're seeing around the same as what we are seeing in the central region as well, especially in Slave Lake, Peace River, and Fort McMurray. They're ranging from between minus 13 and minus 15 degrees there. Grand Prairie is at minus 20, while Fort Chipewyan is at minus 26, and High Level is
we're kind of in the middle there at minus 21 degrees. Now switching over to our southern region of the provinces, they are seeing slightly the same as well. They aren't too cold, not too warm as well. Minus 16 in Lethbridge, while most are seeing that minus 17 degree point in Calgary and Banff at minus 13, minus 14. Switching over to this side here, most are seeing minus 16 degrees on the map here. As you can see, Estevan is at minus 15 and Moose Jaw is the coolest at minus 17 degrees. But as we go back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we are going to be seeing some slightly warmer temperatures compared to what we've been seeing, of course, compared to last week. We aren't reaching those minus 30 marks yet. Starting off this week, Murnum and Provost will be seeing a low of minus 18, minus 19, as well as in Rainwhite for their low tonight. Unity and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of minus 20 degrees. Paradise Hill and Pearson will be seeing a low of minus 21, as well as in Meadow Lake and Isla Crosse will be seeing the coolest with a low of minus 23. And Meadow Lake will be seeing a high chance of some flurries throughout the night, while the rest will be seeing slightly cloudier skies throughout the night. And now switching over to tomorrow's temperatures across the region, we will be seeing slightly warmer days, ranging for most spots, ranging from around minus 5 to minus 7 degrees in most spots there. On the Alberta side, we're going to be seeing a lot warmer temperatures compared to the Saskatchewan side. On the Saskatchewan side, they will be seeing in most places minus 11 degrees, while up in Isla Crosse, they'll be seeing the coolest with minus 14 for tomorrow. And now ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll see warmer temperatures with minus 6, minus 8, with a high chance of some flurries. So get ready to see some snowfall on Thursday as well. Then this weekend, we will be seeing some cool temperatures for our holidays, unfortunately, but 'tis the season, am I right? Minus 24 on Friday, minus 28 on Saturday, and we will be seeing some more snowfall there on Christmas. And then ending off on Sunday, we'll be seeing minus 10 degrees, while starting off next week, we'll be seeing a little bit more sun at minus 24. That's another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Lucas Rossi is joining us here on Primetime Local News again today. We've chatted with Lucas many times throughout his career. And Lucas, you're here today because we're talking about a new album, but it's an album with a cause. So first of all, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank
Well,
you.
let's talk about this album, Lucas. Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh, well, it's it's been a record, long time coming. It's songs that I've wanted to release, but it wasn't the right timing, and they just all have like a story to them, and I think anybody can write music and just put it out. But I always like to keep in mind that there's people out there listening, and what I write is very important and dear to my heart. And from what I read online and the beautiful fans out there, it's important to them too. So I don't just put out something to, make a quick buck or, get more followers or any of that stuff. That's irrelevant to me. I want to make an impact or leave behind something that means something to people,
Well, and Lucas, a portion of the sales of this album are going to go, as we talked about it, it's a record with a cause. So tell me about where the portion of the sales is going to and why you decided to do that.
It's going to the Dysautonomia Foundation. A couple of friends of mine who are very close to me are affected by this, and I didn't even know about it. But a lot of what I've heard recently is COVID is a common denominator in it, which is crazy because, wow, that was a big eye opener. And I wanted to do this beforehand, before I even found this out. So anything I can do to raise awareness for it, I think is pertinent and very important for people to understand that it is a very bad thing, and it affects a lot of people way more than I knew about, So if I can contribute to the cure or research, I've done my job, I guess.
From your experience, Lucas, in dealing with the people around you that are dealing with this, what are some of the symptoms that they're going through so we can help explain to the viewers a little bit about what the cause is that you're raising the money for?
Oh, wow. The symptoms are like your body just feels like, from what I've heard, it feels like you're dying. Like you want to rip your skin off, or you just feel like like you are shutting down. Yeah, that's terrifying to even talk about, because can you imagine going to, for example, one of my friends, who I actually co-wrote the song with, um, he's been to 40 doctors or something, or like 50 emergency room visits. I mean, in Canada, healthcare is free, but can you imagine in America, that many visits could really, really hurt you monetarily. You'd spend your whole life paying that back just to know, like, why am I feeling this way? And that to me is like, that's terrifying. So if I can be the voice, if I can have a microphone, use whatever celebrity or whatever, I will use that. If for that, I will. People need to know that, if you can't be diagnosed, some doctors will just, just take, oh, you're just depressed, or you're this, you're that. But wow, I mean, I praise God that I have not been hit with this, or but there may be someone watching this right now who will go, oh wow, like, really? So yeah, I just want to help be a shield or a guiding light in any way, with whatever knowledge I do have about this disease, that I can help in some way.
Well, Lucas, this is a fantastic thing that you're doing, and the charity part, aside, let's talk about the music itself. Can you tell me a little bit about what people can expect when this is released? I believe it's the 21st. Is that correct?
Yes, on my birthday, you can expect the classic me type music, whatever that may be, but it will be a heavier edged record. Not the same production styles, but stuff that people know where I come from. The last record I did, Summertime, was a pop-ier record, an electronic-ish type record. But that was a cool departure. Everyone needs to step outside of their box and try something new. And this, coming back to me, I think is the key. Coming back to who you are musically. It kind of hurt me in a way, because like I don't know, I felt like I left something behind. When you leave your cell phone at home and you're like, oh, that's kind of how I felt with that record. But this one is coming back to the root of it.
Well, Lucas, thank you so much for doing what you're doing and giving a part of the proceeds of the sales, because a lot of people, you could just be, hey, this is just about me, and not worry about anything else. But it's nice to see that there's the charity part to it. And if people are looking to, get the music just to download or to purchase, or however they want to go about it, what is the best way to find it?
LucasRossimusic.com.
Awesome. Well, Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with everything. And I know you'll have a lot of support behind you. You have, as you said, some of the best fans in the world. I see things that they post, and they always want to hear new things from you. So this is just super exciting. And thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you so much for your heart, your love. And yeah, whatever we can do together to spread the news about this, we're only here on earth to help everybody else. It's not for self gain.
Thank you so much, Lucas.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is author Bob Brill. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Oh, great. Looking forward to it.
Glad to be able to have you on here, Bob. Now, we are here to speak about your novel called The Tattoo Murder, which was released today, actually. Can you tell us what this is all about?
Tattoo Murder is a racy detective novel set in Ventura, California. It is fiction. However, if you look at the book and you pick it up, the way we've structured it, we've done some unique things to make it look like it's real. And but it's basically based on a detective by the name of John Potenza, who is an Italian American. He is also a longtime Venturan. He's a surfer. It's one of his big things. He's really into certain music, Creedence Clearwater in particular, and a couple of dedications of the book to John Fogerty. And also, he is, I guess, if you classified him as far as a ladies' man, he's sort of a local James Bond. He has a lot of women. He has his main squeeze, but he also has a lot of women. And he's a hunk of a guy. Okay, let's put it that way. Nothing like me. So, but he's a good guy. He's very dedicated to family. His family's involved, and the idea is he's got to solve this crime that starts out in the very first page, where a body washes up on shore. Ventura is a coastal community, and it washes up on shore. And from there, he has to solve the murder, but he also, at the same time, has to try to keep two rival biker gangs from going to war. And all this ties in. It's a very unique. It's very involved. It's got several storylines, and it's probably. I wouldn't say probably. I think it's the best book I've ever written, as far as all the books I've written. And I've written like 13. This is definitely my best writing, and totally different from pretty much anything else I've ever written too.
Now, was there some specific inspiration for this novel?
No, I don't think so. I've tackled, I've written 6 westerns that is out of a 10 western series, and I've written a few other instructional books and one book on the internet as far as how business is done. But I think the one thing that I think keeps me going in this particular way and makes me feel really good about this particular book is we did 2 things that were very unique. And number one, I made it so that if you're reading it, it's time dated. In other words, every scene, at the beginning of every scene, there's a break. And like, for instance, one I'm looking at here is, it says, beach home of Jen Holmes, Ventura, Thursday morning, March 23rd, 2012, 7:25 a.m. So there's these breaks. And the book takes you through, and it's time dated all the way through from beginning to end. So if you're like me, you're someone who picks up a book and takes 3 months to read because you can't sit and read. You read when you can. You could drop this at any time and come back and know exactly where you were. And the other thing we did that was really something I've always wanted to do, because I'm kind of quirky. One of the things I really wanted to do was to make it look like it was real. And making it look like it's real, we took actual photographs of places where the fictional book takes place. So there's a center section where the photographs are. There's like 10 photographs or 12 photographs of actual places in Ventura, and with captions as to, like, this, a body was found in this grassy field, or these are the getaway boats, and they're actual photos of real stuff that is in Ventura. So like I said, if you pick it up and you didn't know it was fiction, you would think it was real. And since it takes place in 2012, you think it was an actual story from then. But we did put a line in there under the photo credits that while the tattoo murder is a work of fiction, the photographs are alive and real in Ventura, as well as are some of the people.
And I know you're saying this is probably your best work so far. So do you expect to see that same support for this new novel like you've seen with your previous work?
I actually expect more, because this is a better book. I think this is one of those books, and I say this cautiously, with all the hope in my heart and desire. I think this is one of those books that could really, really do well. It's just that type of book that if you get into it, hopefully you can't put it down. I know my publisher and a few other people have told me they can't put it down. And I actually wrote this book 10 years ago, and I never put it out there. I just kind of wanted to wait until the time was right. And I've had people tell me for years, Bob, please get it out there. It's a great book. Please get it out there. And I decided finally, at this particular point in time in my life and the way things are going in my life, the time that I have or don't have to do certain things, and I wanted to get another book out there, it was just the perfect timing. So it's out there, or will be out there this month, and hopefully it's going to do well.
And just to clarify for people that may be interested, where all can they access this novel?
Yeah, Amazon is usually the easiest way, although you can also go to my website, which is bobbrillbooks.com. It's pretty easy to remember, bobbrillbooks.com, and you can order it directly from me as well. Obviously, if you're going to order the virtual book, you have to go to Amazon.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Bob.
Shelby, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And now ending off with a quick look at another look at your 7-day forecast here. We'll be warming up to -6, -8 on Tuesday, Wednesday, seeing some more snowfall throughout the week. We'll see some cooler temperatures this weekend, just in time for the holidays there at -24 Friday, -28 there on Christmas Day, and ending off at -10 on Sunday. And then next week, we'll see a little bit more sun at -24.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News tonight, and have a great evening.